They told you love was supposed to hurt a little, that men are just like that if he's distant, cold, inconsistent, it's just how men are wired. But Carl Jung would have disagreed. He believed that the words people speak are fragments of their inner world, symbols that echo from the unconscious, and when a man speaks, he is revealing far more than he knows. In this journey, we'll uncover 7 phrases that, when spoken by a man, are not just red flags, they are deep psychic alarms. If you hear them, walk away immediately, because your soul knows what your ears don't want to hear. Most women were taught to interpret mixed signals as mystery, to explain away pain with potential. But what if the truth is far simpler and far more painful? What if the words he uses are spells designed to bind you to a version of love that is more about survival than connection? Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." These phrases are not fate, they are choices, and recognizing them will change the way you love, trust, and protect yourself forever. 1. You're too sensitive. This phrase is poison dressed as advice. It sounds like concern, it feels like feedback, but it's a weapon, a subtle erasure of your emotional truth. When a man says this, he is not inviting clarity, he is invalidating your perception. Jung spoke of the shadow, the rejected, unseen parts of the psyche, and this phrase is often used by men who have disowned their own emotional world. So when yours rises, raw, honest, alive, they reject it. Not because it's wrong, but because it mirrors what they've buried. You're too sensitive is not about you, it's about his inability to sit with discomfort. Your feelings are not flaws, they are signals, and any man who cannot honor them will eventually punish you for having them. This phrase is a seduction into self-doubt, a push towards silence, and silence over time becomes self-abandonment. Walk away, not because you're too sensitive, but because you're finally listening to what your soul has been screaming all along. 2. You're overthinking this. Another casual dismissal, another veiled insult. This phrase doesn't solve anything, it shuts you down. It tells you that your insight, your analysis, your instincts are not to be trusted. But Jung would say otherwise. He believed the feminine psyche held an intuitive intelligence, a sacred way of knowing that transcended logic. When a man calls you an overthinker, what he often means is, you're getting too close to the truth, and that threatens me. You are not overthinking. You are perceiving patterns, picking up inconsistencies, feeling what's not being said. That is not madness, it is mastery. And any man who loves you will respect your intuition, not ridicule it. This phrase is meant to keep you in confusion, to tether you to doubt. But you deserve to be in spaces where your mind is a gift, not a liability. Walk away, because love should deepen your clarity, not destroy it.
My ex was crazy. He says it with a smirk, or with exasperation, sometimes even with pity. But beneath those words is a roadmap to his emotional maturity, or lack thereof. When a man calls his ex crazy, especially early on, what he's showing you is his relationship to accountability. Jung taught that the things we reject in others are often projections of our own disowned traits. So when a man repeatedly discredits a former partner, what he's often doing is confessing his own chaos without taking responsibility for it. This phrase is dangerous because it primes you to doubt your instincts when he begins to mistreat you. It sets a trap. If you react, you're just like her. And so you internalize, suppress, overcorrect. But the truth is, no grounded man speaks of a past partner this way. He might share pain, he might explain dynamics, but he will do so with integrity, not contempt. Walk away, because how he speaks of her is how he will one day speak of you. 4. I'm just not ready for anything serious right now. This one sounds honest, even noble. He's setting expectations, being upfront. But listen closely, not to the words, but to the gap between his actions and his confessions. Often, this man will continue to text, to flirt, to sleep with you. He will offer just enough attention to keep you tethered, but never enough to make you feel safe. Jung might call this a split in the psyche, a man torn between desire and responsibility, wanting the intimacy of connection without the burden of commitment. If he tells you he's not ready, believe him. Not because he's a bad man, but because your heart is not a waiting room. Your love is not a rehabilitation center. You do not need to convince him, heal him, or wait for him to become the man you imagine he could be. His confession is a mirror, not a mystery. And the longer you stay, the more you teach yourself that breadcrumbs are acceptable. Walk away, because you deserve a meal, not a metaphor. 5. You're lucky I put up with you. This one cuts deep. It's spoken in moments of frustration, of manipulation, or worse, control. This phrase is designed to reverse the polarity of power in the relationship. It tells you that love is conditional, that you are inherently flawed, that he is doing you a favor by staying. Jung would call this the voice of the wounded masculine, one who dominates not from strength, but from unresolved shame. He doesn't see you as a partner. He sees you as a burden he tolerates. And that is not love. This is emotional blackmail. It trains you to believe that affection must be earned, that to be loved you must shrink, you must be grateful for crumbs. But the truth is, anyone who truly values you would never weaponize your presence. You are not lucky he stays. He is lucky to witness you, to be in the presence of your heart. Walk away, because staying teaches your inner child that abuse is affection. And that's a lie your soul came here to unlearn. 6. Stop being so dramatic. It sounds like a joke, a comment made in passing, but it's a sharp blade. It tells you that your emotional expression is excessive, that your cries for connection are embarrassing, that your truth is theatrical, not valid. Jung understood that emotion is not chaos, it is communication. When a man says this, what he's really saying is, your depth makes me uncomfortable. He wants the surface, the smiles, the easy compliance, but not the raw honesty of your emotional body. This phrase punishes you for feeling. It conditions you to minimize your voice, and slowly you begin to perform happiness. You become palatable, manageable, silent. But you are not dramatic. You are expressive, passionate, alive. And any love that asks you to tone that down is not love. It's fear in disguise. Walk away, because your fire is sacred, and the right man will never ask you to dim your light just so he can feel bigger.
7. You'll never find someone like me. This is the final spell, the parting shot of the narcissist. It's said with arrogance or desperation, or both. It's meant to make you doubt yourself, to believe that your standards are too high, your worth too low. Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear for the world. And often men who say this are clinging to a mask that is cracking. They know you see behind it, so they weaponize fear to pull you back into illusion. But here's the truth. You don't want to find someone like him. You want someone who sees you, holds you, chooses you. Not someone who belittles your worth to boost his own ego. This phrase is not a prophecy, it's a projection. And the fact that he says it at all means he knows you're about to rise. Walk away. Not because you'll be alone, but because being alone is far more sacred than being with someone who confuses love with possession. Your soul has always known. Now your mind does too. These phrases are not just words. They are shadows. And the moment you recognize them, you take your power back. You walk not just away, but toward yourself, toward peace, toward clarity, toward a love that doesn't require you to abandon who you are. Let this be your line in the sand. Let this be your moment of remembering. And if you've ever heard one of these phrases, if you've ever stayed too long hoping he'd change, share your truth in the comments. You are not alone. This channel is a sacred space for healing, remembering, and rising. Subscribe, and let us walk this path together.